All right, so let's just settle. Let's bring our mind into the same place. Excuse me, our bodies. So whatever kind of a day you have had or are having, for those of you who are in the middle of their day, I think that's probably just one, Jay, and the rest of us are in various parts of the evening. Some people there are actually almost ready to go to bed. So just try and bring your mind for the next 30 minutes or so, just on your cushion. This practice is for yourself. So just check your sitting position. Excuse me, legs, sits bones, hands, shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And you can imagine there's somebody above or behind you, just very gently lengthening that string of pearls of light. The shoulders are aligned with the hips. And the head is very slightly bent forward. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. To a spot about a couple of inches ahead. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And now bring your mind to the crown of the head and release any tension in your scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, that area around the mouth, the jaw, back of the head. And relax the back of the neck and the shoulders and allow your shoulder blades to drop down. And release if you've got holding any tension in your throat or chest. Just try and let that go in your belly, and limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And then just bring the mind to the breath. And just notice the sensation of the air very gently flowing in and out of the nostrils as you're inhaling and exhaling. So you just get a slight sensation on the outside of the nostrils as you're breathing in and out. So just be slightly aware of that. And then if you are aware of any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to run off and investigate. And then notice what's arising in your mind. And try not to judge it or criticize yourself or have opinions. So just allow these thoughts to just arise, and then they'll dissipate. But just be like an objective observer. Just let them go. Bring the mind back to the breath and just feel. And now we just bring to mind all these people of our life, our friends, our loved ones, these people we are in functional relationships with, those people we've having some difficulty with, and then there's those people in our life who are complete strangers to us. And it's always good to remember that these friends, these people that we don't like so much, and those strangers could change place in terms of our relationships with them. It's always good also to remember that they're all equal in their wish to be happy, and their wish to avoid suffering, and their wish and this incredible capacity for enlightenment that we all have. So it's there at the core of our being. It's who we are, who we have always been. So doing this purification practice, we're just kind of taking away a few layers of dirt so we can access this golden nugget that it lies within us. So I think we'll do this practice for all these people of our life, thinking particularly of Amber tonight. And all sentient beings. So again, just remember that there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process, where we're working with our mind, so it's a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can create positive energy with our mind. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on, this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we sort of already understand about suffering. We probably don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense that we pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, the doctor, and we see this Vajrasattva Buddha as a doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not requesting that Buddha forgive us. We're not looking for this kind of godlike higher power who's going to take all our pain and our problems away. And we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. We're just taking responsibility. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is, if you have a teacher, this is your spiritual teacher, your mentor, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. And just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, yet it's not kind of tainted by them. So he has this radiant, beautiful face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. And the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people that maybe you've harmed recently, sentient beings you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, perhaps all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. So then remember those who've harmed you. And maybe that's a little bit more difficult to think about in this way, but we develop compassion for them because they are going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So here we come to the power of the remedy. And so this is what we can say is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. So mantra recitation and visualization of light and nectar. So we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful nectar. And it's also like coming out of a hose quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and pours into your entire body through your crown, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body. And it disappears into space, pours out of you, disappears into space, and not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So then be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is the purification of speech. And Vajrasattva very happily, very compassionately sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And it overflows quite forcefully and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is completely purified by this powerful nectar filling you and overflowing as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Tita Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokayu Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness, doesn't it? So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression and attachment and grasping and neediness, all your worry, grudges, bitterness, and jealousies, all of this instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me pi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me pi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me pi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, our own delusions, and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech and our mind, we harm ourselves with our mind, are totally purified. And then think, there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. And if you wish, you can imagine that as you're reciting the mantra and visualizing the light and the nectar, you can also visualize just a couple of mantras each for the visualizations of the body, the speech, and the mind, if that makes sense. Otherwise, just imagine that light and nectar is pouring into you, filling you completely, and eradicating the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa Anarakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe So now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth step in the purification process, and just a really important step where we make a decision to refrain from harming. So nothing's going to happen without that decision. So whatever it is you've been working on lately, maybe think of that, bring that to your mind, and make a determination as to how you're going to work with that between now and tomorrow. Maybe just choose one thing, one habit that you're going to try and start getting on top of. And this determination, this decision to sort of refrain from harming gives us strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown and think. My guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And Lama Yeshe used to call that union oneness. It was very sweet English. Next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a moment. So in this way, we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can think of things as being dependent arisings. We can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created together doing this purification practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Hu tub shu chang jin jam gon gyalaway tenzing kyang pelway konzo dog borze chog sum gorway leg mon to drub Dag sog dulje kondu jabten shok. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please live long. And Vikasha Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Kind of a long day for some people. Lots of love. Thank you so very much for joining. Thank you for your attention. And sleep well, everybody. Stay warm. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hosting, Michael. Appreciate it very much. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Good night.
Thank
Happy
you.
Love